On today's show, the top 10 biggest games from week number 3 for the 2025 college football season. All right, welcome in. Winning Cures Everything. It's a college football podcast. I'm your host, Gary Seegers, at GaryWCE on all the different socials. Obviously, most active on X. Go ahead, right off the top, tell you all the things you need to know. BettingCFB.com. That is the subscription site, $5 a month, $50 for the year. You can also subscribe to this channel. I would certainly appreciate that. Like the video, jump in the comments. Don't forget about subscribing to the podcast as well. Leave a nice 5-star review over there. Okay, we are going to dive into things. Let me go ahead and tell you the record thus far. Last week went 4-5-1 against the number on the biggest games of the week. Went 10-9-1 overall in the first 2 weeks in the biggest games. All 60 picks, because I also do an extra video every week that goes over 20 more games. I am 35-24-1 against the spread. So we are going to have a good time with these this week, for sure. All right, let's get after it, shall we? Game number 1, and we are starting in the SEC. Georgia heads to Knoxville to take on Tennessee. College game day will be there as well. Georgia, a 3.5-point favorite as it sits right now, total of 49.5. This one, 2:30 p.m. Central Time, God's time zone on ABC. Georgia won 38-10 last year in Athens. They have beaten Tennessee 8 straight times. They have covered 6 straight times. The Dogs have not allowed over 100 rushing yards in the last 4 meetings with Tennessee. Kirby Smart seems to know this defense. Easy enough. My power ratings that are updated weekly have Tennessee favored by 4.5. You can see it right up here at the top there. The stats have Tennessee favored by 4.05. But again, maybe not again, for the first time today, but if you've been watching me for any amount of time, you know you can't trust everything from 2 weeks of football. Georgia has played Marshall and Austin Peay, and the Austin Peay game was delayed 2 hours by thunderstorms and lightning and whatnot. All of the national media have been so concerned about Georgia. They had to throw the football 34 times last week against Austin Peay. What are they going to do against an SEC defense? Guys, none of the passes, out of 34 of them, none of them that were completed went for longer than 9 yards. They didn't throw the ball down the field. They didn't do anything crazy. It was wet. It was nasty. They were playing Austin Peay. Who cares? Get out of Dodge. The defense gave up 6 points. Like, what are we doing? Kirby Smart knows Josh Heupel's offense. He just does. And if you look at the stats, Georgia PPA margin, that's predicted points added, number 7 in the country. No, they're not the best offense in the world. Number 30 in PPA per drive. They're number 3 on defense. Tennessee, number 13 offensive PPA per drive. They're number 56 on defense. The defense that everybody was talking about, they're still whatever, it's not great. Number 83 in defensive success rate allowed, number 124 against the rush. So you're telling me that Georgia, who needs to get it together running the football, I am fairly certain that they will be able to run the ball here. Just a guess. You start digging into all sorts of other things. Georgia's number 1 in the country in special teams efficiency. Tennessee is number 16. Overall talent rank, Georgia is 4. Tennessee is number 10. This is, Georgia probably needs to not give the ball away. They're number 94 in takeaways per game, number 56 in giveaways per game. But Tennessee's not a ton better. I mean, number 56 in giveaways, number 60 in takeaways per game. Penalties, Tennessee number 83, Georgia number 2. This seems to me to set up another one of those spots where Georgia is going to run away with this thing. Georgia is better at basically every position here. Number 9 offensive line against the number 17 defensive line. Tennessee number 28 offensive line. Georgia's defensive line is number 30, but their linebackers is number 13, and the back 7 is number 8. So you can get away with not having a super dominant defensive line so long as the rest of the guys hold up. And they are ferocious. I think they've been saving everything up for this game. And imagine what Joey Aguilar is going to look like going into this one, right? Going up against a defense like this. The 5 factors rank, all that goes Tennessee's way. But I got to tell you, I am on Georgia here. Georgia minus the 3.5. If this thing hits 3, I mean, we're talking sizable. Like, I mean, this is, people seem to forget 8 straight wins in the series for Georgia, 6 straight covers. Kirby Smart knows Josh Heupel. Dogs minus 3.5. Texas A&M goes to Notre Dame on Saturday night, 6:30 p.m. Central on NBC. Notre Dame a 7-point favorite, currently total of 49.5 on this. 23-13 Notre Dame win last year in College Station in week 1. A&M 6-4 against the spread in their last 10 road openers. Notre Dame, their last 10 against the SEC, they are 7-3 against the spread. That includes a cover and win against both A&M and Georgia last year. Notre Dame, coming off of a bye, coming off of a loss to Miami. What are they going to feel like in this spot? Yes, it is a freshman quarterback going up against Mike Elko's defense. You start looking at the stats here. I'm not so in on A&M's defense. Now, Notre Dame, their defensive success rate, putrid for that game against Miami. But that was Miami. Carson Beck can throw the football a little bit better than Marcel Reed, I believe. I mean, based on what we have seen, I think that's pretty easy to justify. But Notre Dame, you look at these stats, they've only got one data point. And it's kind of hard to make anything out of that. My power rating has A&M minus 4. The stats projected spread is A&M minus 8.2. Does not matter to me. A&M is going to have to prove this to me. The way it looks, there's nothing from this that can make me believe that A&M is the overall better football team just based on one data point, right? Notre Dame's offensive line, number 22. A&M's defensive line, number 19. Notre Dame's running backs, number 9. A&M's linebacker, number 18. Right here, Notre Dame's skill positions, 20. A&M's back 7, number 10. On the other side, A&M's offensive line, number 3. A&M's running backs, number 4. A&M's skill position, number 19. Notre Dame, number 18. Defensive line, number 10. Linebackers, number 16. Opposing back 7. So, A&M has not covered a spread yet. But they've also played UTSA, and I don't even remember who they played last week. That's ridiculous. I just looked at that box score. I need more from A&M in order to take them in a game like this. A&M is number 70 in penalties per game. They are number 23 in giveaways per game, only half per game. Notre Dame turned the ball over twice against Miami, and still Miami had to have a last-second field goal in order to win that game. Overall talent, special teams, etc. Like Notre Dame is number 5 in overall talent. A&M is number 11. I'm interested. I think C.J. Carr looked the part. I'm still kind of curious about Marcel Reed. Biggest difference that you can see here, Notre Dame current strength of schedule is number 1. Again, only one data point. A&M strength of schedule number 102. Okay. This thing is at 6.5 at Caesars and a couple other places. Give me the Fighting Irish. Give me Notre Dame minus 6.5 coming back home off a bye week. A&M, prove it to me. You got to prove it to me. Are you tired of sore knees or joints slowing you down? Go Sleeves uses built-in kinesiology tape technology to give you support, reduce pain, and help you recover faster. Use code WCE for 15% off over at GoSleeves.com. The Vanderbilt Commodores are headed to Columbia, South Carolina. They are headed to Williams-Brice. And currently, South Carolina, a 5.5-point home favorite, total of 48.5. This one's at 6:45 p.m. Central Time on the SEC Network. And let's go over some trends. 28-7 South Carolina win last year. South Carolina has won 16 straight games against Vanderbilt. They have covered 8 of the last 9 in the series. South Carolina was the only team to hold Vanderbilt under 10 points last year. And Vanderbilt, 9-1 against the spread as an underdog in their last 10. They were 8-1 overall last year. The only game that they did not cover in that 10-game span as a dog was against South Carolina. So my stats certainly would point to Vanderbilt, right? Power rating, we got South Carolina minus 1.5. Projected stat spread has got Vanderbilt minus 3.48, which makes sense for why this spread was 6.5, and it has come down to South Carolina minus 5.5. And that's the best number you can get on the board. I mean, it's consensus across the board. Vanderbilt looks really good. Number 4 in PPA margin. South Carolina, number 33. The offense for South Carolina has not looked very good. The offense for Vanderbilt is absolutely clicking. They beat the mess out of an FCS team, and then last week, they looked awful in the first half against Virginia Tech. In the second half, they unloaded 34-0 in the second half. I mean, just demolished them. They go slow. Number 122 in plays, in offensive plays per game. They're number 135, dead last in the country in plays per minute, 1.8. South Carolina plays a little bit faster, number 71 in pace on that. Vanderbilt, number 11 in SP Plus special teams. But, again, overall talent, number 64 for Vanderbilt, number 13 for South Carolina. The game for South Carolina last week, short week because they played on a Sunday in a neutral against Virginia Tech. And I understand Vanderbilt beat the mess out of them at their own place. We do have a similar data point for these two teams. South Carolina beat Virginia Tech in Atlanta 24-11. Vanderbilt beat them in Lane Stadium 44-20. I just don't think you can tell a lot from playing Virginia Tech. I don't think that team is very good. If that's the case, I think Beamer and Mike Shula and that bunch have got some things stored up for this game and for their SEC slate, right? Because very soon they're going to be playing against Missouri and everybody else that they've got to play. Oklahoma, LSU, Alabama, etc. So South Carolina, I think, is going to look a little bit better in this game. Everybody and their mother is on Vanderbilt. And last year, I was I was the conductor of the Diego Pavia train. But there is no way that Vanderbilt is this good. I know they've got a bunch of experience back. I get that. But I can't buy into it, especially going to Columbia. I know they went to Lane Stadium last week at night and handled it. But if you look at Virginia Tech's record at home, and this will be the second straight week that I'm going against Vanderbilt. So my comeuppance will come swiftly if South Carolina does not get this done. But I will take the Gamecocks at minus 5.5. I'm riding a lot of favorites this week. Whole lot of favorites, especially early. So I think too many people are on the dog here. South Carolina, again, history tells us something. I mean, it was the same thing with Kentucky last week. Everybody was on Ole Miss. Oh, they're going to get revenge, etc. No. That's not how this works. If you got somebody's number, you got their number. And I feel like South Carolina and Shane Beamer have got Vanderbilt's number. Give me the Gamecocks, minus 5.5. The Miami Hurricanes are taking on the upstart South Florida Bulls, USF, if you will. And this one is on the CW. That's right, 3:30 p.m. Central Time. Odd time, but I'm good with it. Miami is a 17.5-point home favorite, total of 56.5. Miami won this game last year 50-15. It was a close game kind of early, around halftime. After that, it was all Miami. 50-15. Miami is 4-0 against the spread against South Florida in the last 4 meetings. South Florida 2-4 against the spread against the ACC in their last 6. However, as we saw last week, South Florida goes into Gainesville, gets a big win. South Florida is 8-1-1 against the spread in their last 10 as a road dog against a ranked team. And the numbers certainly bear it out. Again, Miami is one of those teams that really only has one real data point. They beat Notre Dame at home last week. They beat Bethune-Cookman like a drum, and I'm talking waylaid them. I just demolished them. So you get the number 3 and the number 4 strength of schedules in ESPN's SOR rating. My stats projected spread has got Miami minus 8.28. My power rating has Miami minus 6. It's like, well, Gary, this thing is at 17 and a half. It opened at 16 and a half. There is a reason for that. On 3 overall talent rank, Miami number 9, South Florida number 67. You start looking at position by position. Yeah. Miami's offensive line and their defensive line significantly better. I mean, it's not even close. Miami's defensive line is number 4. South Florida's offensive line number 59. And South Florida went through a war last week. I mean, you want to talk about a letdown spot? This is the king of all letdown spots. Massive win. You don't really have to have this one. Now, are they going to fight? Absolutely. But Miami now will be taking South Florida seriously. This is a ranked game. This is a massive game for the Hurricanes. If they're wanting to get into the playoff and whatnot, win this game, all of a sudden you have 2 ranked wins, which equals South Florida, if you really want to call it that. But I am always going to go against the other team in a letdown spot. Miami basically got to rest their starters last week. And South Florida had to do everything they could to get a win at Florida. That's 2 massive games. This is a huge emotional letdown spot. Miami is number 7 in 5 factors rank. They are number 5 in 5 factors plus talent. South Florida number 38 and number 35 in those respectively, of course. You start diving into different numbers and whatnot. Miami's defense has not been great, but I do see improvement from Corey Heatherman's bunch. I'm a fan of it. They're not exactly the most explosive. South Florida is. They're number 16. They don't allow a lot of explosives. Of course, playing against Boise and against Florida, there's not a lot of explosives to be had there. But Miami, I think, can generate some stuff here. And Carson Beck looks good to me. So, again, I'm going with the favorite. The best number I can get right now, Miami minus 17. I'll take it. Yes, I think South Florida is a really good team. Hate the spot. Hate it with the fire of 1,000 suns. Give me the Hurricanes minus 17. Why struggle doing everything yourself? On Fiverr, you can hire professionals for just about anything. Marketing, editing, design, and more. Save time, get it done right. Click the link in the description to get started. Clemson goes down to Bobby Dodd Stadium against Georgia Tech on Saturday, 11 a.m. Central Time, God's time zone, on ESPN. And Clemson right now is a 3.5-point favorite. This thing opened this week at 6.5. Over the summer, this was a game of the year, and it was at 9. That's bananas. Opened at 52.5. It is out to 53.5 right now. And we can thank the fact that Haynes King didn't play last week for the lower number. It's going to get caught back up. Buster Faulkner, of course, doing his thing as the offensive coordinator. This is a fun coaching matchup, right? You got Garrett Riley. You got Buster Faulkner. Clemson is having problems. They're number, let's see. Number 96 against the pass in defense in passing success rate allowed. Number 72 in rushing success rate allowed. They are number 97 in pass rate allowed. Number 96 in passing success rate. Let's see. Number 69 in PPA allowed per rush. They are number 44 in yards per rush allowed. Number 43 in rush rate allowed. 72 in rushing success rate. Clemson's defense is not quite up to snuff yet with new defense coordinator Tom Allen. Georgia Tech, Haynes King will be back this week. Sat out last week. He looked really good against Colorado. Early, of course, he ran the ball a bajillion times against that Buffalo's defense. But this is what it's all about, right? Clemson special teams, number 133. Well, Georgia Tech is not exactly a whole lot better. They are number 98 in that metric. On 3 overall talent, that's where Clemson has the edge. Georgia Tech's number 50, Clemson number 18. I've gone back and forth about this so many times. Looking at the trends, Clemson is 0-5 against the spread in their last 5 true road openers. Georgia Tech has covered 3 straight as a home dog against a ranked team. As a matter of fact, against Miami last year, they pulled the outright upset. Georgia Tech 4-1 against the spread in their last 5 ACC openers. However, again, this is one of those spots. Clemson has won the last 9 straight against Georgia Tech. They did not play last year, but they are 7-1-1 against the spread against the Yellow Jackets. Now, Dabo did not like Jeff Collins. Brent Key, I think, is a little bit of a different deal. Brent Key loves to cover as an underdog. He's, for whatever reason, his team gets way more up when they feel slighted. The issue here is, while Clemson is still the favorite, there is so much hype and there is so much love for Georgia Tech that I'm a little wary of it. Georgia Tech, number 127 in turnover margin. They are number 126 in giveaways per game. They are number 130 in penalties per game. Clemson still they're doing the same thing. Number 6 in takeaways. Number 29 in penalties per game. That kind of thing travels. Georgia Tech is at home. They have circled this game. Sometimes that hype can be a little bit much. I'm looking at this one kind of like I'm looking at Georgia at Tennessee. Georgia Tech has been waiting for a situation like this. They have been waiting for this game. They have not beaten Clemson in forever. No, Clemson did not look good against LSU. The game against Troy last week, a cacophony of errors just all over the field. They shot themselves in the foot over and over. Another game that was wet, had a super long delay because of lightning, etc. I can't really take anything from that. And if that's the case, I got to go Clemson. I'm going with the Tigers. I'm going with Dabo. This number has dropped far enough. Clemson minus 3.5 is the best that we can get out there. And that's what we're going to take right here. Give me the fighting Dabos at minus 3.5. And to my Westlot Pirate buddies, I apologize. The LSU Tigers. That's right. That's right. They are hosting the recently upset Florida Gators. Sunbelt Billy is back. That's right. LSU is a 9.5 point home favorite, total of 48.5. This one is at 6:30 p.m. Central on ABC. And let's go over some trends before we get into anything else. Florida has lost 6 of the last 7 in Baton Rouge. They are 0-3 against the spread in the last 3 in Baton Rouge as well. Last year, Florida won this game 27-16. And it was a debacle for LSU. Absolute debacle. LSU 3-0 under Brian Kelly in SEC openers. This is an interesting spot. LSU didn't look very good against Louisiana Tech last week, but Florida didn't look very good against South Florida either. And I think, and I brought this up when I was projecting wins and losses and blah, 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 neither one of those teams was going to look good the week before this game because why would you put anything on film? Now, Florida had a more difficult opponent. But, I mean, LSU was up, 10-0 at the half against Louisiana Tech? I mean, it was just ridiculous. So, LSU's offensive success rate is number 92. That's not very good when you got Garrett Nussmeier at quarterback. Defensive success rate, number 29. Florida, even with a loss, number 32 in PPA margin. They're number 54 offensive success rate, number 22 defensive success rate. So we got two interesting, good defenses, which you might not would have expected that from, well, LSU especially. So Florida, number 5 defensive line against LSU, number 5 offensive line. Or sorry, other way around. 5 versus 5. It is what it is. Florida's defensive line is number 6. And this is courtesy of the guys over at CFB Winning Edge. Their stuff is really, really good. Nick is awesome. But it includes experience and talent. This is a really good roster for Florida. They're number 21. There it is right there. Number 21 in on-3 overall talent rank. LSU is number 3, though. Number 3. LSU skill talent, number 2. Florida's back 7, number 26. LSU has just got talent all over the field. Where they don't have it is their running backs and their offensive line. Those are the biggest problems. So, Florida has got some stuff to pick up here, but this number has gotten a little bit crazy, right? Opened at LSU minus 9.5. It is still LSU minus 9.5. My number has the projected spread at LSU minus 8.5 based on stats. My power rating has LSU minus 8. When you start looking at the home team seems to always cover in these spots, whether it's Baton Rouge or the Swamp. I think Florida is better than what they showed last week. Now, are they a lot better? No. But I haven't exactly seen a ton out of LSU either. So when I'm looking at that, Clemson, obviously, we haven't seen whether or not this LSU defense is for real because we don't know what Clemson is yet, and we certainly don't expect anything out of Sonny Cumbie's Louisiana Tech Bulldogs. So how good is this LSU defense? The talent is certainly there. Blake Baker, hell of a coach, and he's the defensive coordinator, in case you didn't know that. But I think this Florida defense is going to be able to get some pressure on the offensive line for LSU. I think it's going to make Nussmeier a little bit uncomfortable in spots. I still think LSU wins the game, but I think Florida hangs in this. I think Florida was preparing for LSU and just didn't worry too much about South Florida. And if that's the case, I expect a better showing from the Gators this week because I do think that those kids love Billy Napier. So give me Florida. Best number I can get is plus 9.5. This thing goes to 10. I'm certainly going to hit it. But for show purposes, we will take the Gators at plus 9.5. Are you looking to catch your favorite team or concert live? Ticket Smarter makes buying tickets safe and simple. And with our promo codes, you save big. Use WCE10 for $10 off an order of $100 or more, or WCE20 for $20 off $300 or more. Grab your tickets now at Ticket Smarter. All right, if you haven't already, go ahead, like the video, subscribe to the channel, jump in the comments, let me know what you think I got right, what I got wrong. Again, the record thus far on the year in all of my picks combined is 35, 24, and 1 in the biggest games of the year. So our biggest games of the week. We've only had 2 weeks, but I am 10, 9, and 1 in those. So do with that what you will. And these are early lines, so it is what it is, because some of these have just been kind of back and forth. All right. Ole Miss is hosting Arkansas this week. And this one's at 6 p.m. Central on ESPN. Ole Miss is an 8.5-point favorite, total of 61.5. This one opened 8.5, jumped out to 9.5, and has been bet back down to 8.5. So it's sitting in a dead area right now. Arkansas beat the absolute mess out of Arkansas State last week. Looking at some trends, 63-31 Ole Miss win in Fayetteville last year. Ole Miss has been favored in 12 straight games against Arkansas in this series. They are 2-10 against the spread, and they are 6-6 outright. So Arkansas, as an underdog, has beaten Ole Miss half of the times that they have played in the past 12 meetings. Pretty wild. Pretty wild. There is a part of me, I heard Colin Wilson over at Action Network talking about this, about how Arkansas got fired up about Arkansas State. The Arkansas State players were chirping before the game, and they really took it out on him. And he's worried that maybe they put too much emotion into that game, and now they've got Ole Miss. I can see that kind of, but I'm also a little wary of the fact that Austin Simmons didn't play the last series against Kentucky. That was interesting. Nobody has said anything about him being hurt or anything like that, so I'm not sure exactly what's going to go on there. You look at some of these numbers, it certainly leans Ole Miss's way. Stats projected spread has Ole Miss minus 9.5. Power rating has got Ole Miss minus 9. I mean, my total on this, like the total, it opened 62.5. It's down to 61.5, but my stats projected total is 75 on this game. Like the sportsbook projected spread or predicted score is 35.5 to 27. I've got it 42.6 to 33. Like that's how ridiculous this is. Both of these offenses really know what they're doing. Number 24 in offensive success rate for Ole Miss. Arkansas number 11. Now also Arkansas has played Alabama A&M and Arkansas State. So, but I'll tell you, this is going to be a lot of fun because I don't expect Ole Miss to be able to. I don't expect Arkansas to be able to stop Ole Miss. I'm curious about Ole Miss being able to stop Arkansas. They were able to shut down Georgia State, no problem. Kentucky has no offense to speak of. And yet they still put up 23 points on the board, and part of that was because turnover margin. That is something to pay attention to. Ole Miss number 111 in giveaways per game. That's number 118 in turnover margin because they can't turn anybody over. Arkansas is number 27 in turnover margin. Now, granted, again, you're looking at the number 49 strength of schedule against the number 125. There is a huge difference there. But Arkansas has done what they need to do in these games. They have put up over 50 points in both games. This is what you do to lesser than competition. Bobby Petrino against Lane Kiffin and Charlie Weiss Jr. It's a fun offensive matchup. And I have seen this Ole Miss team, and I just wonder. And yeah, they're going to be at home. It's going to be a wild crowd, night game, etc. I think that Talon Green and company can put up some points on the board. And if that's the case, I kind of expect them to not look like they did last year when they got beat 63-31. Ole Miss came out and just hit them with a barrage immediately. That Ole Miss team is not this Ole Miss team. I'm going to take Arkansas plus the 9. I think that this offense is clicking. Two things that I'm always worried about. Turnover margin, penalties per game. Arkansas has the upper hand in both of those. Arkansas is not great, but I do think they're better than Ole Miss in this situation. So if that is the case, yeah, give me the Hogs plus the 9. I don't think they win the game outright, but I think this is another one of those kind of like that Kentucky game where, yeah, it might just be a little bit uncomfortable, and we'll take the Hogs in that spot. We head down to Nolens where Tulane is hosting the Duke Blue Devils. And yeah, you may not think this is a big game, but for me, for the AAC, etc., especially with what South Florida's doing, I think this is a big game for Tulane for sure. They've already got one win over the Big Ten against Northwestern. Duke, I think, better than Northwestern. This is a big spot for John Summerall and company. So Tulane is a 2-point favorite at home, total of 54.5. This one's 7 p.m. Central Time on ESPN2. So it's a night game at home for the Green Wave. Duke, their last 6 games against the AAC, they are 6-0 against the spread. Tulane, 2-7 against the spread against the ACC. But again, these are wildly different circumstances. Duke, 6-2-1 against the spread their last 9 as a dog. They had 5 turnovers last week. They had a better success rate margin, or they had a better success rate in that game than Illinois did. But Illinois still won the game, better overall. A little bit surprised at these Duke numbers thus far. Number 119 in PPA allowed per drive on defense. And they're number 25 in offensive PPA per drive. So Tulane transfer Darian Mensah looks really good thus far for Duke. Wide receivers, maybe But turnover margin, number 135 in the country. That ain't good. Tulane is number 2. Like they're number 23 in giveaways per game. They are number 1 in takeaways. Now, do I think that this is going to go the same way that the Illinois game did? No, but I can't guarantee that either. So Tulane number 110 in penalties per game. Duke at least doesn't kill themselves with penalties. They're number 29 in penalties per game. This is an interesting spot. Overall talent, Duke number 52, Tulane number 68. That's interesting for an AAC team going up against an ACC team. But when you start diving into this, Duke's defensive line, like the defenses for both of these teams are the strength, at least when it comes to talent. Number 38 defensive line for Duke against the number 79 offensive line for Tulane. Number 48 linebackers for Duke against number 85 running backs. Number 34 back 7 for Duke against the number 72 skill position talent for Tulane. Tulane last week kind of let South Alabama hang around. They got up, had a 2-touchdown lead. That thing evaporated. You know, what was the final? 33-31, 32-30. They won by 2 points. I get curious here because I do think that Duke has the better quarterback. I think defensive talent-wise, I think that they are better than Tulane. This is one of those where if Tulane really wanted the upset or an easier upset, I think it would be better if Duke had won the game last week. I think they're going to be fired up. They are going to be motivated. They are, like I said, 6-2-1 against the spread in their last 9 as an underdog. I am buying in on the Blue Devils. I can't see Tulane going through the stretch because they've got Ole Miss next week. This might be one of those spots where Tulane actually kind of overlooks Duke because they've got Ole Miss next week. And with Duke getting it blasted 45-19 last week against Illinois, maybe it's Tulane that starts to get a little bit of a big hit. I'm going to go with the Blue Devils. Give me Duke plus the 2 on the road. I'll probably look like a fool when Saturday night comes around, but I'm buying in. I'm buying in. And looking at it, this thing is at 2 now. It opened at 2.5. Yeah, there's some Duke love in the market. So I don't believe we're going to see another 5 turnover effort from Darian Mensah and company. I think this is a good spot for the Blue Devils. Stop guessing and start winning. Stokastic provides advanced data and strategies for DFS players and bettors, built by pros who know how to find edges. Click the link in the description and sign up today. The Wisconsin Badgers are headed down to T-Town, Tuscaloosa. They're going to take on the Alabama Crimson Tide. And this one's 11 a.m. Central Time, God's time zone, on ABC. Alabama, 20.5 point favorite, total of 46.5. Bama won last year in Madison, 42-10. Now, bit of a narrative behind that. Of course, Wisconsin, their starting quarterback, Tyler, I forget his name already. I'm drawing more blanks as I get older. It's kind of ridiculous. Regardless, their starting quarterback for the year went out after the first or second drive, but it was not good. And the guy that came in was not very good either. Wisconsin 0-5 against the spread all time on the road against ranked opponents. Bama is 6-2-1. against the spread, 6-2 against the spread in their last 8 as a 20-plus point home favorite. They're normally playing that kind of a spread against Middle Tennessee State, Western Kentucky, Louisiana Monroe, but now you've got Wisconsin coming in, and it is what it is. So total is 46.5. Again, Bama favored by 20.5. And that number has not really moved a lot. It jumped up to Bama minus 21.5. It opened initially at some books at Bama minus 19.5. My numbers on this power rating has Bama minus 14.2. Projected stat spread has Bama minus 13.33. Wisconsin expected to get their starting quarterback back in this game. Billy Edwards, the kid that transferred in from Maryland. Danny O'Neal has done pretty well thus far, I would say. This will show you exactly how bad the Florida State game was. Bama is number 105 in defensive PPA allowed per drive. Now, this takes out all of the garbage time. Louisiana Monroe did not score last week. They really didn't even sniff it, if we're going to be completely honest. The Bama defense did exactly what they were supposed to do against a lesser-than opponent, and yet Bama is still number 105 in defensive PPA allowed per drive, number 107 in PPA allowed per play. Now, the offense certainly got clicking last week. They're up to number 23 in PPA per drive and number 30 in PPA per play, number 41 in offensive success rate overall, but number 73 passing, number 74 rushing. Again, this takes out garbage time. And there was a lot of garbage time last week. It was 42-0 at the half against Louisiana Monroe. Wisconsin, number 40 in PPA margin. They are pretty good. Number 1 in the country in available yards allowed. And that's huge. But the offense has not exactly been anything to write home about. They have been playing a MAC team and an FCS team and just not great. Their strength of schedule is number 115, I believe. Yeah, number 115. Alabama's is 34. So you start diving into this. Wisconsin overall talent, number 28. Bama's is number 1 at on 3. You start diving in position by position, and the issue for Wisconsin is that their offensive line is pretty good. Number 13. Bama's defensive line is number 3, but they will be without Tim Keenan. They will be without whoever his backup was. But that's 2 300-plus pounders that are not going to play. But on the other side, and this is where it really matters, Wisconsin's defensive line is number 66. Bama's offensive line is number 7. If you were going to have a chance against Alabama, you got to be able to slow down the offense. If you can't slow down the offense, that's going to be a problem. So, the Wisconsin offense, not a lot to write home about. Number 72 running backs, number 70 skill position. The Wisconsin defense can be good. Number 21 linebackers, number 23 in back 7. So that's going to be interesting. There are pieces on the field that can keep Wisconsin in this game. But I'm not expecting that. At home, feels like Alabama's a different team. They are certainly not good on the road, but this one is not on the road. This one is at home against a team that they can tee up some things against them. I'm expecting points galore. I know that my stats say that this should be an auto bet for Wisconsin. I'm going the opposite direction. I will take the Tide. Give me Bama minus 20.5. And finally, the 108th installment of the Backyard Brawl. West Virginia is hosting Pitt this weekend. I heard that game day was going to be there, but the West Virginia loss at Ohio last week made them change plans. They will now be in Knoxville again. They've been there a lot over the years. Since 2007, 6 of the 8 meetings have been decided by a touchdown or less. between these two teams. Pitt is 0-3 straight up, 1-2 against the spread in Morgantown. Last year, Pitt won this game 38-34. They scored 2 touchdowns in the last 3 minutes of the game to steal the game away from West Virginia. And really maybe ended Neil Brown right there. I mean, that really may have been it. I mean, obviously there were more losses coming, but this is that kind of rivalry. Pitt, interesting spot here because they opened as a 4.5-point favorite. They are now a 6.5-point favorite on the road. Total of 57.5, so that number has come down just a touch. Pitt opened at 4.5. They're out to 6.5. The total opened at 58.5. They're down to 57.5 on that. Pitt is 9-1 against the spread in their last 10 as a road favorite. They are 1-9 against the spread in the last 10 as a road dog. Now, typically the home team covers in this series. And when I look at what West Virginia did against Ohio last week, I don't think that Pitt beating Central Michigan the way that they did really tells me anything about them. Same with them beating Duquesne in week 1. West Virginia's week 1 game told me nothing about them. West Virginia offense number 101 PPA per drive, but the defense is number 10. Are we buying that? Like, I don't feel like we should be buying that. But I mean, maybe I'm wrong. Like the linebackers for West Virginia, number 22, the back 7, number 13, the defensive line, number 42. And with Pitt, the defensive line is not great, but it's a Pat Narduzzi team that's going to be able to do something. You start looking at turnover margin, et cetera. Like West Virginia is number 126 in giveaways per game, but they're number 6 in takeaways per game. So that gives you number 65 turnover margin at just dead even right now. With Pitt, they give the ball away a little bit, not a ton, but they don't get nearly as many takeaways. West Virginia 116 in penalties per game. Pitt is number 29. Looking at success rate, Pitt number 3 in defensive success rate allowed. West Virginia is number 18. Like it's very interesting on a down-to-down basis looking at this, especially when you've only got a couple of data points. Pitt number 47 in defensive predicted points added allowed, and yet they're number 3 in defensive success rate. Early in the year, you will have that, especially when some weird, unexpected things open up. Because like Pitt, give you an example, they were up 28-7, and they were about to put this game away with Central Michigan, and it had a punt or a kick return that was called back. Next play, they throw an interception. It's 28-14 at the half. Probably should have been 35-7, if we're being honest. And instead, it's 28-14. So it turns into, you get the point. So PPA is interesting, especially early because it varies wildly. This game is still in Morgantown. It's Rich Rodriguez. He is going to have something cooked up for this. And I think, again, this is like the Florida situation. You get caught looking ahead a little bit. West Virginia was on the road against an Ohio team that they thought maybe they could take it easy against. Can't take it easy against Ohio. So, I'll tell you what I'm excited about. I'm excited about, what's the kid's name? Zach Alley going up against Cade Bell. Zach Alley is the defensive coordinator for West Virginia. Came over from Oklahoma. And then Cade Bell is the offensive coordinator. Came up from the FCS. And has done some fun things with Pitt so far. Like I'm excited about this. Eli Holstein doing his thing. I don't think like my power rating has Pitt -2.5. My stats spread has Pitt -6.17, and this thing is out to 6.5 already. No. Give me the home team as a dog, especially in a rivalry spot like this, where I feel like Rich Rod has been cooking things up since he got the job. Give me West Virginia +6.5 on this. All right, let's go ahead and recap it right quick. Don't forget, subscribe to the channel, subscribe to the podcast, leave a nice 5-star written review over at Apple, Spotify, whatever your favorite podcast app might be, and jump in the comments as well. Tell your friends about this. You guys know what to do. And, of course, bettingcfb.com. Can't forget that. Easy to go and check that out. Already got a bunch of stuff out this week already. All right, recap. Georgia minus 3.5, Notre Dame minus 6.5, South Carolina minus 5.5, Miami minus 17, Clemson minus 3.5, Florida plus 9.5, Arkansas plus 9, Duke plus 2, Bama minus 20.5, West Virginia plus 6.5. That's going to wrap things up. You guys have been absolutely fantastic. Thank you for supporting the channel. Thank you for supporting me. I'm having a lot of fun with this year. It's a good time. It's a really good time. All right, we'll be back again later on in the week with even more content, even more picks. Again, record thus far, 35, 24-1 in week 1 and week 2 overall on the picks that I've given out on the channel. So we're doing all right. Let's keep that thing rolling. With that said, take care of yourself, take care of each other. God bless college football, and hopefully all of your tickets cash this week. Thanks for listening to Winning Cures Everything. Subscribe, leave a review or comment, follow @GaryWCE on X, and check out the web store,